It's 10 o'clock on the west coast of the United States. It's 0600 GMT. Monday, March the 2nd is about to wrap up, and thank you for being with me here on cBasAfterDark. Wrapping up your day or your evening, as the case may be. I don't know what to talk about. I mean, I do have a million things to talk about, and yet I don't know where to start. One of the things, I guess I should just start right off the bat. And I don't know how much I should say, because like when it comes to potential jobs or possible job offers kind of a thing, I don't want to jinx it, you know, and I feel like talking about it jinxes it. And that's so superstitious and stupid. Like I'm so much better than that. But out of the blue tonight, somebody just messages me. I forget even where it was, if it was Google or Facebook or Twitter or something, but it was one of those. If you've been hearing me talk at all about applying for work, you know I'm trying to get back into the news business. The mediocrity that I see is one reason. The fact that it's all I've ever done as far as true career thing is another reason. And with the exception of teaching English for the year 2014 in Mexico, I really have only done that. You know, a lot of people sort of did other small jobs in their youth before, and I had part-time jobs kind of a thing here and there. But the truth is that all I've ever done, kind of in a very real sense, has been be a news reporter on the radio, 90% of it. I've done TV work. I've done online work. You know, I'm well skilled at all the different forms of journalism. And again, the mediocrity that I see drives me batshit insane to the point where part of me feels like I should wash my hands of it and say, no more. I give up. It's a lost cause, from Anderson Cooper all the way down. Unfortunately, Anderson Cooper did a really killer report on 60 Minutes on Sunday. But, you know, on one hand, there's a million people who are mediocre. And on the other hand, it's like Anderson Cooper is on both 60 Minutes and CNN. It's like, save some fucking shit for the rest of us. But, you know, people talk about his pedigree and what a great reporter it is. I feel like Anderson Cooper kind of goes places and pretends to get dirty. So forgive me for just being personal for a while here tonight. Usually I have topics. I haven't even been promoting this week's broadcasts or webcasts because I feel like I'm a little more all over the place. And in the same reason, I don't put this stuff on my Facebook page so that all my Facebook viewers could just tune in, or my Twitter followers kind of a thing. I feel like just talking to the empty camera and not really thinking too much about who is listening, or sort of, I guess that's not true. I'm hoping that nobody's listening and I can really open up to myself. It's going to turn out that millions of people are watching this, and I am going to jinx the job I'm potentially up for. But I've applied for dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs, most of which I'm profoundly qualified for. A few I'm underqualified for, a few I'm overqualified for. I feel like, you know, aim low in a couple of places just to sort of see what happens, and then aim higher than you might even be capable of. You never know what might happen. Well, I know what might happen, and in certain sides I'm right. Nothing is happening. So it's really difficult, really discouraging, really painful in a way to know that there's all these happy horse fuckers on television and on the radio who are doing a bad job at being a news reporter or journalism in general, whether it's sometimes I notice bad producing, bad writing, bad editing, bad camera work. You know, all of these things I feel like I could do better than a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing. And so I'm kind of, you know, I'm shooting lower than I am capable of, and I'm shooting higher than I'm capable of, and everything in between. And, you know, not even a response from 98% of them. Now, just this morning, I wake up and my hopes got raised just for a second because I saw, reporter position. And it was a personalized note from a human being. I don't get that. Not too often. I mean, even the rejections I get, for the most part, you don't get rejections. Anybody who's searched for a job recently knows that you apply and you apply and you apply. And if they're interested, they talk to you. And if they're not interested, you don't hear anything from them at all. Not even a rejection note, not even an automated rejection note for the most part. You know, I would say 92% of the jobs I apply for get zero response. 5% get the automated rejection, or, you know, kind of acknowledgement, we received your resume, we'll let you know, don't call us, we'll call you. But tonight, it was out of the blue. I got a notice from somebody I haven't talked to since I left the Bay Area, actually a while before that, who said, hey, what are you doing? I'm kind of starting my own little thing. I built a studio and I might have a job for you. You should swing by. This person's kind of assuming that I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, which I'm not. I'd kill to be back. I would probably sell my soul to the devil expressly if I believed in a soul, if I believed in the devil, or even if I didn't, you know, I would, if it meant I could go work in my chosen field in this place where I want to be, that's shooting the moon. You know, that is really ambitious and really probably not what's going to happen in all likelihood, but maybe it is. You know, I mean, I go back and forth. There's the people, and there's some scientific studies, I think, to back up the power of positive thinking, right? Whether it's prayer in kind of the religious context, which I don't believe in, but I do believe there's something to the power of positive thinking, because there has been some scientific evidence suggesting that good things happen to good people, blah, blah, blah. But I also believe in the nature of the universe. And I believe in the logic that be pessimistic and then you'll never be disappointed. And then when something good happens, you'll be surprised. I mean, there's that kind of competing lines of thought. And it's hard to choose which, because when it comes to the lottery, for instance, I know exactly where I fucking stand. Lotteries are for people who are bad at math and have money to fucking burn. It's that simple. Now, these people who are bad at math use these little catch-all phrases that are kind of like tricky, not just tricky, but kind of ludicrous in a way, but they're kind of manipulative. Thought manipulation in a way. When you say, you can't win if you don't play, cBas. Well, the problem with that is, in reality, you very, very likely cannot win if you do play. You cannot. Very, very, very likely. Now, it's not 100%, but it is 99.998, you know. And anybody who knows anything about statistics, probability, numbers, or, you know, logic understands that you would be better off taking the lottery money and putting it in a slow yield bullshit fund or whatever the hell, putting it in a 401k, whatever, and you'll do better over the long haul than you will when you play the fucking lottery. But that does not deter people from playing the fucking lottery. Even people sometimes who are good at math or who are good thinkers still buy lottery tickets and do that shit. So when it comes to statistics, I have an excellent understanding of that kind of thing, and I know where I stand. On the other hand, as I said in the Trekkie chat room tonight, there is a show I respect a lot. It's called Brain Games. It's not the 80s HBO Brain Games, which I think causes some confusion. I think they should have gone with a new title for this newer show. But I revere this show. It is awesome. It is thoughtful. It is brilliant. And it is... I cannot say enough good things about it, except that I'm not on it. You know what I'm like? Jason Silva is a fantastic host, and I would be sad if he were not there, unless I were replacing him. Because frankly, I feel like I'm as good looking. I feel like I'm as personable. I feel like I'm not probably as young as he is, but I do feel like I have the psychology degree that maybe puts me in a good position. I don't know. But I will say this about that show, and I forget which episode it were, which season even it was, but there was an episode where, you know, you kind of miss 100% of the chances that you don't take, kind of a thing. Now, that is the backside of the same coin as you can't win if you don't play the lottery, cBas. And that's bullshit. And I know it's bullshit, statistically, mathematically proven in the real world. And yet there's that 0.002%. You know, there's some person being paraded on a newscast right now with a giant novelty check, whether it's Publishers Clearinghouse or the Powerball or the Mega Millions or whatever the fuck, who wins that money. And those people they parade onto the cameras are the ones that keep the lottery tickets flowing, and they keep the thing in business. And now there's other sides of the coin too. There's the, lottery money gives us education money, lottery money gives us infrastructure money, kind of, and then in that way I don't object. But I sure as hell don't play it on the basis that you can't win if you don't play. But again, the other side of that very logical coin is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Now, this is not going to be a rich position. This person who emailed me out of the blue, or contacted me out of the blue, it's only part-time, and it's in the most expensive place to live in the country. I don't know if I can go back to having roommates. I don't know if I can do a lot of things. And frankly, part of me has gotten used to kind of where I am now and what I'm doing now, despite the fact that I'm miserable living here and doing this. So I still have an aversion to change in the Sheldon Cooper style, right? I would rather have things not be disturbed. Part of me would rather, I don't work at Walmart, but let's throw that out there as a placeholder for what I do, because I'm not going to say. Part of me would rather work at Walmart in, the hometown where my family is, kind of a thing, than take a risk, be the gunslinging cowboy, off in the world having adventures and possibly falling flat on my fucking face or flat on my ass, or I wish I had an ass. I'm too skinny to have an ass, but I'm wrestling with this a lot tonight. This all just happened in like the past hour and a half. It's not what I want to keep talking about. What I want to keep talking about, we're going to have some fun. It is not Tuesday yet, but I feel like doing some game show stuff. In fact, I kind of feel like watching some of the Brain Game skits. I don't know if any of that's on YouTube. The original, I'm talking about now the 80s Brain Games. If there is anything on YouTube from that 80s Brain Games, we're going to take a few minutes, maybe even right now, and watch. Braingrams is what I just typed in there. That's not correct. Okay. Oh, I hate that one, but let's do it. Oh, is this actually the... Okay, before we do that, I would like to do this. Perhaps the most famous thing HBO ever did, and frankly, none of their stuff since has even remotely approached the coolness of what I'm about to show you. If you have watched HBO ever in the past, you're aware of this. You may be familiar with the music. You may have seen clips of it before, but let's watch now. The thing you see fourth down from the top there, which is the 1983 intro. 65-piece orchestra is what we're hearing. From the days when HBO was very different compared to the rest of television. Do you remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about when I play that? That is some of the most epic television animation in the history of TV animation. And a little bit later, just because now I've remembered about it, we're going to watch the 10-minute documentary showing how that was made. Did you see that? From the people in their living room turning on HBO at the beginning, to coming out the window and flying over this little town that is clearly not an animated cartoon kind of a town, to the looking up into the stars and seeing the HBO logo coming at you. Not one piece of that, not one frame of that, not one element of that was computer generated graphics or imagery of any kind. The year was 1983, if you saw the year when I clicked on that. And there was no such thing as computer generated imagery for the most part. If there was, it was highly, highly limited. As an example, in 1982, the movie Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan came out. And the best they could do with computer animation was this wireframe kind of stuff that looked like, you know, computer wireframe animation. If you know what that is, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then you have no clue. But we will take you through the documentary behind the scenes of that HBO opening that I just played. And I think you'll be, if you have any appreciation for production or television techniques at all, you will realize that the amount of work that went into that, months and months of work, the motion control, the only computer involvement really was the motion control camera, where the computer controls the motion of the camera to a very exacting perfection, and thus creates kind of a look that you can't get from shoulder held cameras or tripods, or, you know, the other way they move cameras, which is, you know, like on a track with a dolly that you push and it slides forward or slides back kind of a thing. Not one bit was computer animated. And we're going to look at that later because I love that shit. And frankly, it cheers me up, it makes me happy, and it distracts me from this huge conundrum and sort of turmoil / excitement that I'm feeling right now. Let's go back to Brain Games, though, because that's what I really wanted to watch. The Brain Games thing I wanted to show you. Let's just not watch a full episode, just one game of the old 1980s Brain Games TV show. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Why does my keyboard stop working? Probably just woke up half the damn neighborhood screaming like that, but you've got to be freaking kidding me with this. All right. Well, let's just watch a couple of minutes here from one episode, and hopefully I will. What did that do? Can I just please? What? I'm going to adjust my camera, so just hold on a second here. I literally have to like take my keyboard off and re-put it on here and hope that it's going to function better. And of course it's not, because I literally am going to have to shut down Google Chrome in order for this to work. So I'm not going to do any of that. We're just going to switch. I literally can't even do that. I don't even know, dude. All right. Well, I'm going to have to turn the broadcast off. There's no, just do me a favor. Stay with me for the next couple. Oh, I don't even know if you're going to be able to do that. If you happen to be watching, look for cBAS After Dark Part 2, because that's what I'm going to have to call it, because Google Chrome is a piece of fucking shit. Thank you. And if I lose you after this, cBAS After Dark, we'll see you next time. But I will be back broadcasting until the top of the hour here, in case you happen to be watching now. Please stay tuned.